Morning. It's 8:03. We're on Insh Marshes. This is Thijs.
Yes.
Did I do all right?
Very good.
Did all right. We are going to do a little bit of a drone flight and try and give people a sense of what makes this a special place for Curlew.
Yeah, what we can see, why it's so good for Curlew, and what we can improve as well still on this really good habitat.
Cool, right. So let's get the drone up. And he's away. So that's us a good 80 metres up. What are we looking at there?
This is one of the best curlew breeding sites of mainland Scotland, so really nice bog habitat. And you can see just all the little islands that curlews could use to build their nests away from predators.
Yeah, because what I see when I look at that is just like, in the nicest possible way, it's a mess, it's a jumble, right?
Yes.
I mean, just looking at that one image, there's upland stuff, there's farmland stuff, there's little edges of woods, there's open water, there's rushy stuff. There's just so much in that one, area that we're looking at.
That means that the curlew is able to hide their nest really well from the predators, so from avian predators as well. Even if you're a bird and looking from above, it's really hard to find a nest in there for curlew.
So if I were an avian predator, right, which, just to be obvious for people, is like a bird that eats other birds, right?
Yes.
And I were flying over here, what is it about that makes it harder for me to spot?
Yeah, so the structure in the vegetation, so because you have the different colors in there, the different heights of the vegetation, it's harder to see a nest in there, especially when the curlew is sitting on top of it, and they're really well camouflaged as well.
So earlier on when we were flying the drone, when we got to this bit, you stopped and said, oh, that's a really interesting bit, right? So tell me what's interesting about that particular area.
Yeah, so this is the transition from breeding habitat into really good feeding habitat for adult curlews. So the more fresh green fields that you see there, the adult curlews will use them to come feed off all the worms that are in there.
Yeah.
Whereas, they still need that habitat, that fen habitat to build their nests and to hide for predators and stuff as well. So the combination of those two is crucial for curlew, and that's also why we really need to work on a landscape scale, and we cannot just do everything on Insh Marshes. We need the surrounding farmers to work with us, basically, to secure the future of curlew.
Because I think the thing that people will maybe not realise is that when you look at this landscape specifically, right, and you're looking at there, you've got like what I would think of, to my untutored eye, right, is a pretty wild landscape in the bog part of it.
Yes.
And it butts right up against that very human managed landscape of the farmland. This really does show you how important, people in the community are to making this kind of stuff work.
Yeah. So any type of open landscape is good for curlew. They're not particularly picky either. What they do need is the food and the place to make their nests, and that's a combination of farmland and bogland and heathland, and it can be anything, and people are definitely a big part of that as well.
I suppose the other thing we should probably say, looking back over this way, right, is you can't overemphasize the importance of the wetness of this place, right? And that is one of the things that's special about Insh, right? Is like it's an enormous wetland by Scottish standards.
Yeah, that is crucial, because that is what determines what vegetation is growing on the marsh. So we need those early spring floods to really create this good habitat and the right vegetation communities to develop. And what develops here is a lot of bog and peat as well because of it. So it's good for climate change as well.
So what you're saying is this landscape's working pretty hard, right?
Yes.
For nature, the climate,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
also like soaking up water that otherwise would be in people's front rooms, right?
Yes.
And all that stuff. Yeah. Cool. Right. Battery says bring them back. Let's bring them back.
Yeah, sure.